Isaiah chapter 28 begins with a warning to the people of Ephraim, the northern kingdom of Israel, and its capital city, Samaria. The prophet describes the city's pride and drunkenness, both literal and metaphorical, as a symbol of their moral and spiritual decay. Despite their appearance of prosperity and strength, Ephraim's leaders and people are filled with corruption, and their pride will lead to their downfall. Isaiah pronounces God's judgment on Ephraim, comparing the city to a fading flower and a drunkard who will be utterly destroyed by the invading forces. The proud and self-sufficient will face a humiliating end, as God will bring their proud plans to nothing. The prophet then turns to Judah, the southern kingdom, and speaks to its leaders in Jerusalem, warning them not to rely on their own wisdom or strength. Despite the impending judgment on Ephraim, Judah's leaders are also filled with arrogance and foolishness. Isaiah warns that they, too, will face destruction if they continue to trust in their own understanding instead of seeking God's counsel. However, God offers a foundation of true security through His Word, likening it to a cornerstone laid by God Himself. For those who trust in God's guidance and wisdom, there is a promise of stability and security, unlike the shaky foundation upon which Judah's leaders have built their confidence. The next part of the chapter shifts to a prophecy that speaks of God's judgment as a result of the people's disobedience. Isaiah uses the imagery of a farmer who scatters seed and prepares the land carefully, highlighting the contrast between God's wisdom and the people's foolishness. While God works with careful, wise planning, the people of Israel and Judah have lived in a state of disorder and drunkenness, oblivious to the need for spiritual renewal. They have failed to heed God's instructions and have acted recklessly. This disobedience will lead to a time of reckoning, but it will also serve as an opportunity for God's people to learn His ways and live in alignment with His will. The chapter ends with a note of hope, as Isaiah contrasts the coming judgment with the eventual restoration that God will bring. He speaks of a time when God's people will be taught by God's wisdom and receive His instructions, leading to a peaceful and fruitful future. While God's judgment is just, it is not without the promise of hope for those who choose to listen and follow His ways. In the end, the people will see that God's methods of discipline and teaching are wise, and His ultimate purpose is to bring about a lasting peace and stability for those who trust in Him. This chapter, while full of warnings, also points to the mercy and grace God offers to those who turn to Him. Let's now read Isaiah chapter 28. Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose glorious beauty is a fading flower, which are on the head of the fat valleys of them that are overcome with wine. Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which is a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand. The crown of pride, the drunkards of Ephraim, shall be trodden under feet. And the glorious beauty, which is on the head of the fat valley, shall be a fading flower, and as the hasty fruit before the summer, which when he that looketh upon it seeth, while it is yet in his hand he eateth it up. In that day shall the Lord of hosts be for a crown of glory, and for a diadem of beauty, unto the residue of His people. And for a spirit of judgment to him that sitteth in judgment, and for strength to them that turn the battle to the gate. But they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink, they are swallowed up of wine, they are out of the way through strong drink, they err in vision, they stumble in judgment. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. Whom shall He teach knowledge? And whom shall He make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk, and drawn from the breasts. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will He speak to this people. To whom He said, This is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, and there a little, that they might go, and fall backward, and be broken, and snared, and taken. Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men, that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Because ye have said, We have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. From the time that it goeth forth it shall take you, for morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand the report. For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than that he can wrap himself in it. For the Lord shall rise up as in Mount Perazim, he shall be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. Now therefore be ye not mockers, lest your bands be made strong, for I have heard from the Lord God of hosts a consumption, even determined upon the whole earth. Give ye ear, and hear my voice, hearken, and hear my speech. Doth the plowman plow all day to sow? Doth he open and break the clods of his ground? When he hath made plain the face thereof, doth he not cast abroad the fitches, and scatter the cummin, and cast in the principal wheat and the appointed barley and the rye in their place? For his God doth instruct him to discretion, and doth teach him. For the fitches are not threshed with a threshing instrument, neither is a cart well turned about upon the cummin, but the fitches are beaten out with a staff, and the cummin with a rod. Bread corn is bruised, because he will not ever be threshing it, nor break it with the wheel of his cart, nor bruise it with his horsemen. This also cometh forth from the Lord of hosts, which is wonderful in counsel, and excellent in working. This ends our reading of Isaiah chapter 28.